Hi everyone, my name is Dolis and I'm from Nirmata. One thing that I absolutely love about Kubernetes is how flexible and powerful it is when it comes to managing configurations. But often we forget that with this flexibility comes a risk. Even a single misconfiguration pod, like a pod running as a root sitting somewhere, or any application having excessive privilege, can take your entire cluster down and create an entire security and a compliance issue. Some guardrails that we feel often nice to have, for example, pods having request and limit, or having those right naming conventions, exist for a reason. If we ignore them, they not only make your entire cluster messy, I think, but they can also create different kind of issues like performance issues, outages, cost spikes up, etc. Now think about all these issues and think about an organization adopting platform engineering practices. This was a latest report by CNCF stating that 99% of all the issues that we see happen because of a misconfiguration. Now you see all this risk in there, and then organization adopting platform engineering where they want to provide self-service to their developers while still have a little bit of control. All this is happening at the same time where different teams are touching these applications. When I say different team, security team might have different reason to inspect the applications, infrastructure team might have different reasons, DevOps team, developers, platform engineering. Everybody is on the same YAML and requires a self-service experience to developers while still having a little bit of control. How do you achieve this in realistically? How do you make that possible? Because it sounds a little too good to be true. The solution to that, I feel, is policy as a code. You define one rule and you enforce it everywhere. You enforce it in your pipeline, you enforce it in your cluster, you enforce it across teams. So now, with the policies, you are having the control that you need, so security team and platform team can still get the control, and the developers can still experience the self-service. And that is exactly why we created Nirmata. So Nirmata is an open source policy code engine out there. When we created Nirmata, the vision was very simple, to define and make policy as a code adapt realistically in the organization. Kubernetes not only just validate resources, just like any policy engine out there, but it can also open up a bunch of automation cases. For example, with the help of mutate and automate policies, you can patch a resource, or you can generate new resource based on your logic. Not only just validating your resources, but Kubernetes can actually validate your image signature, your attestation, which is one of the crucial use cases when it comes to supply chain. Kubernetes can also clean up those tail resources using cleanup policies. So now think about it, having all these different policies and adapting to policy as a code ecosystem, you can enable a lot of use cases. Use cases like just-in-time access, self-service clusters, self-service namespace, resource optimization, cost optimization, etc., etc. When we were creating Kubernetes, the idea was very simple, to be honest. Adopt PAC, make PAC adaptable, and create an easy tool that's easy to use, that's Kubernetes native. Which reminds me, you can write all these policies using just YAML. You don't need any learning curve. To get started with Kubernetes and refine or write a policy is very easy. The learning curve for all of this is extremely low. Now, all this looks very fantastic. Kubernetes can look at your configuration, block these configurations, or report these configurations. But what happens next when you find these violations? How do you fix them at scale? Now, here is the challenge, right? That's where Nirmata comes in. So Nirmata supercharges Kubernetes by not only finding misconfigurations, but actually fixing them using agentic AI. We understand that there are different problems, and different problems require different solution. Every policy violation that you may see may be there for a different reason, and that is a reason Nirmata have different workflows to address that. With Kubernetes, you enforce the policies. With Nirmata, you get workflows to act on them. I feel that security is about finding those misconfigurations and addressing them in one or the other way. And that's where Nirmata helps to close that loop. When we created Nirmata, the mission was to help organizations secure their cluster, adopt PSE by finding, fixing, and preventing misconfigurations. And that's when Nirmata helps. With Kyverno, you can enforce policies. With Nirmata, you can fix them. Thank you very much.